a mind you can't control. Running wild, can't calm down. My head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. For a second, make me feel like this. Make me feel like this. We got a party for a lifetime. Oh, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. For a second, let me feel like this. Make me feel like this.
Hey everyone, please hit that thumbs up as you're rolling in. Happy Tuesday.
I'm on my last straw. I'm broken and I'm woken up. I'm done feeding your lies. I've had enough. I can't run your place in this faulty game. And all the words you speak mean nothing more to me. 'Cause let's start over now. Rewind. And I won't let you go. I need you by my side. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. Yeah, 'cause you don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown. But we both know how to swim, no worries as we'll fall now. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. I drag you out your mind, and there are days I hate you, but baby, you're still mine. And then we have the best times, no matter what we do. And even when we don't, there's nobody I'd rather choose. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Give me 1 second here. Sorry guys. Bear with me. Bear with me 1 second. Just give me 1 second, y'all. Sorry. Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. Today is September 17th, 2024. It is 5:11 p.m. in the East Coast of the United States. Bonjour, bonjour. Please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button as you're rolling in, and hello to our replay crew. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate you. We are speaking about the Summer Wells case today. And Summer Wells, some of you may know her case, some of you may not. Summer Wells was a 5-year-old little girl missing from a holler on a hill, if that makes sense, from 110 Ben Hill Road in Rogersville, Tennessee, also known as Hawkins County. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. And She has been missing for over 3 years. Are we at 3.5? November will be 3.5 years, November. And so it is one of those cases that has still yet been solved. Other than Sebastian Rogers' case, this was another one of those cases where everyone felt strong about their beliefs. In Summer's case, no one has officially been named a suspect. And is it cold? I think it is. I think Chris says that it's creeping along. I think that was his words that he used. He does believe it will be solved. Um, I believe it would have been solved already if it hadn't have been for the location that she lived in, probably. In June of 2021, there was not much any cell service or anything in that area. And I think that and there's not a lot of cameras. This is rural. It is out in the sticks. I have been in the area several times, several times. And some of you know how I feel on this case. Some of you don't. We will get more into that in a little bit. I want to thank Court TV, Chris McDonough from the interview room, of course, Vinny from Court TV, and Jason Jensen for continuing to keep Little Summer's name out periodically. Yeah. Summer is very dear to all of our hearts in this true crime community. Summer, excuse me, Summer Wells and Monkey Michael Vaughn, they went missing. Summer went missing in June 2021. Michael Joseph Vaughn went missing in July of 2021. And it was a crazy time. Michael did not get as much coverage. And with Michael's case, you didn't have these, the parents were much different, much different. In Michael's case, you saw the parents be shoulder to shoulder with law enforcement, did everything they could possibly do. In Summer's case, in my opinion, that is not what we saw at all. Don and Candace Wells, who is Summer's parents, they lived a rough life, a rough existence. Very much so. Don, he is a drywall finisher, and that is his trade that he does. Candace she didn't work. She was, I guess, what you would consider a stay-at-home mom. And they would, they come from a rocky background, from a lot of DRUGS, DV, and it was a lot to say the least. They did several interviews as far no, I don't even know if you would consider them interviews. They did several lives with creators. Um, and through it all, they were just a mess, to be honest with you. They were just a mess. Uh, Don has been accused by his sisters, his stepsisters, and one of the friends that when he was 19 or so, that he and before that he had went into their bedroom at night, if you will, and just a whole host of things. Candace uh, lived in homelessness on and off. I feel sorry for Candace's childhood. Um, her mother, which you guys, she is another person in this case. We call her name is Candace too, but we call her Grandis, and that is true. Brandy, he did admit it. He did admit it. Yes, about his sisters. Um, and Grandis pretty much left Candace whenever she was younger, and so she was raised by her much older father for several years, and she's just a survivor, is what she is. She survives in the only way she knows how, and that is through a man. And it's just a really sad situation. It really is a sad situation. They have 4 children together. Uh, they had 3 boys, and then Summer, she was the youngest, and she was the girl, the only girl. Candace had 2 other children um, in a previous relationship, and then she had another child in another relationship. Um, those children in those 3 children in 2 different states were taken away from Candace by Children's Services. Me too, just a girl. God, me too. And Don, he has an older son and a daughter. I feel very sorry for his daughter in particular, the older daughter. And his daughter, or his son rather, his older son has kind of walked in similar footsteps as his father. It's been that repeating what you know, that vicious cycle, right? Sorta Morta, good to see you, darling. Thank you so much, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Thank you, my dear. Welcome to the family. I think you might have renewed that. Pros look amazing on you, my dear. Justice Jane, she's a local, and I consider her a friend. She came to the summer's vigil that is happens every year on June 15th, 2021 in Hawkins County. Yes, Don's son is an RSO. Sure is. One sec. All right. So fast forward this right here.
My investigation is the disappearance of a 5-year-old little girl from Tennessee. Her name is Summer Wells, and what makes this one so puzzling is that it happened in the middle of the day from her home when there were adults at the house. Here's her story.
It's another one of those stories that doesn't make sense, and I'll be the first to tell you I've questioned this since day one. This case, I still question this case. I don't think I'll ever stop questioning this case until law enforcement says we have found her and arrested someone, and that's when, you know, something otherwise. Right. We'll talk about it.
5-year-old Summer Wells was growing up in rural northeastern Tennessee, a beautiful part of the country where nature runs free and folks own lots of land, free of crowds, buildings, and neighbors. Summer was living with her parents and siblings and grandma in a home on top of a hill, a place that seems very peaceful, very quiet, and most of all, very safe. But one June day in 2021, her family says she went inside and was never seen or heard from again, seemingly vanishing from this vast property in Hawkins County. There are many questions.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Marlena. This is one of those cases where you rarely hear that a child allegedly goes inside and then less than 2 minutes later or so, their mother says she's screaming frantically on "Where's Summer?"
That have been unanswered in this case, questions that could shed some light on where this little girl is and what happened to her. We will examine those questions and find some answers as the search for this little girl from Tennessee continues. So this goes back to 2021. I mean, super high profile story and case, still unsolved. I want you to take a look at an image, and they do age progressions. She disappeared when she was 5. So they put together a progression last summer of what she would look like at this new age 3 years later. So you look at those pictures and it brings to mind, beautiful little girl. But what happened here? Which
I think she looks a lot like Candace there.
brings us to really the most important question. And my first question tonight, which is about this little girl from Tennessee. Where could she be? It seems there's a lot of possibilities of what happened here, and the case is far from being solved. I don't even know if there's any hot leads right now in this one.
Yeah, I think she looks a lot older there.
Let me bring in my
she
guest,
really
who know a
was.
lot about this story, a lot about this investigation. Former homicide detective, host of The Interview Room with Chris McDonough. Chris McDonough is with us, and private investigator Jason Jensen. Thank you.
Of course, you guys know Chris McDonough from The Interview Room. Amazing man, and former homicide detective. He still does cases all over the country, and he assists with the Cold Case Foundation that has been offered to the Wells, and they have rejected that offer. So Chris, he went about 3 weeks or so after Summer went missing. He went to the house, and we're going to see some of that interview. Oh, of course, Justice Jane. we're going to see a lot of that.
Chris McDonough is with us, and private investigator Jason Jensen. Thank you to you both. Chris, let me throw that question out to you first. Where could she be? What are the possibilities that we're looking at here?
Yeah, it's a great question, Vinny. And for the last 3 years, thousands of people have been asking that particular question. And the possibilities from obviously a law enforcement perspective is it foul play? Is it an accident? And, because there was an accident, could they have covered up something? There's so many theories that could be applied to this. But that is the $1 million question at this point, because you and I both know that 5-year-olds, they just don't vanish from.
And that is, you're going to hear, and you've heard a lot about Sebastian's case and Summer's case, being very similar in a lot of ways, of course. Neither story makes any sort of sense. And it's probably the only 2 cases that I've seen where the parents, other than obviously Seth, hasn't been very active in the case as well. They both live, with Summer Wells. She lived very deep in the country on a dead-end road. And in Sebastian's case, he lived in a cul-de-sac, a dead end as well. And so there is some similarities
From their house.
No, there's some intervening action, force, something. I want to take a look, Jason, at a timeline here so we can kind of go through this for the folks watching. June 15th, 2021, Summer Wells is reported missing around 6:30 p.m. Last seen somewhere around her home, outside her home. June 17th, the search expands to cover a 1-mile radius surrounding the home. June 26th, TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, looks for a red Toyota pickup seen in an area where Summer disappeared. Could have seen or heard something. June 26, 2021, Summer's brothers are removed from the home by the Department of Children's Services.
God, sorry, I was muted. I haven't muted myself in a long time. But I was saying that Summer's brothers were taken shortly after, I think 2 or 3 weeks after Summer went missing. They never returned to the home. They have now been adopted out by new family, and from what I understand, they are excelling. There was a guy living there. Justin interviewed him. Don would take. Oh, gotcha. Shit, Thomas, yeah. It's crazy. It's just crazy. I can't even think about it. Ugh. And a lot of people in these cases, they talk about possibility. Was it possible? Well, it's possible, for aliens to come down and give us dance lessons. There's always a possibility, right? But we need, in crime, we need to look at more of probability. Not as much as, anything is possible, but probability, right? Is this likely? Statistically, overall, in this case, each case is unique, has its unique circumstances. So the thing that I'm going to ask, especially those who don't know about this case, once we dig into this a little bit more, do you think it is a probability that someone...
October 31st, 2021, Don Wells, her father, is arrested for driving under the influence. February 4th, 2022, Summer's 6th birthday. February 4th, 2023, Summer's 7th birthday. June 14th, 2023, TBI released the age progressed photos that we're showing you. Then February 4th, 2024, Summer's 8th birthday. Then June 14th, 2024, TBI released a video update on the case. I want to take a look at that right now. Let's take a look.
When I see the picture of Summer Wells, I see my daughter. And I can tell you that if my daughter was missing, I would sure hope that somebody was looking for her every day. My name is Josh Melton. I'm the Assistant Director of the Criminal Investigation Division for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. We don't have the evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost. It's really important to us to not focus all of our efforts on just one of those two.
All right, Jason Jensen, you've investigated so many cases like this. Where are you starting? What strikes you about the attempt to get to the truth here and get to the answer of where she could be?
Yeah,
but
that right there that you just watched, very good point, ICU. That is pretty much the biggest update that TBI has given us in over 3 freaking years. Other than, I think Ronnie Lawson came out before and said that Don and Candace Wells were not cooperating with the investigation.
the most important thing is to keep an open mind. Like the director just said, is they don't know which theory. There's really basically only 3 things that can happen in a disappearance involving a small child like that. Either a wander off, or an abduction, or a death and concealment. They've ruled out the death and concealment pretty much by doing the polygraphs with the parents, and they both passed. So we're really focusing on whether this child wandered off, got lost, and something happened to the child. That's why they did the mile radius search and then find her. So, there's a real possibility of the abduction, and you got to keep your mind open, because we do know that this situation does occur. Like I have a case, the 1982 case of Rachel Runyon. She was abducted 15 feet from behind her home. So it can happen.
Let me ask you, Chris, the red Toyota pickup. What do we know about that vehicle? Why is that something?
So there was allegedly a Toyota pickup. Whenever that could have been seen the day before Summer vanished or that day. And that is a very good point. The card team, and people will argue with this. You can ask. It's on WJHL, and as well as, what was it? Might have been on the TBI. I don't know if it was on the fact. It wasn't on the fact sheet, but it was a quote. I've showed it before. It says that the TBI found no evidence of an abduction. The TBI is a rapid deployment team, and they are there for non-familiar abductions for children. They were there. They did their investigation. and they left because they could not find anything to suggest that someone of a stranger abducted her.
Thing that law enforcement talked about.
Well, first of all, the red Toyota pickup was introduced by the father of the victim. It wasn't an independent witness or anything like that. The dad says, there could have been a vehicle down at the end of the driveway, et cetera. And so we have to take into consideration, what's the geographic region.
Now, I heard different on that. I didn't hear it was Dawn. I heard, and I believe Ronnie Lawson said this, that a delivery man or some type of worker said he saw a red truck with a ladder rack, a small red truck with a ladder rack with buckets in the back. That day or the day before. Now, if someone is driving a truck with a ladder rack, to me that suggests someone was in construction of some sort with white buckets in the back, which if you go to Dr. Phil's with Candace and Don Wells on there, you know how they do a reenactment at their house of like, what happened that day before they come out on stage. If you look in the back of Don's pickup truck, he's got his lunchbox in his hand. He's got a bunch of white buckets there in the back of his truck. But I digress.
Telling you as an investigator.
It just means they both had buckets. But Don doesn't have a red truck, so I want to make that clear.
And in this particular situation, the victim was last seen in the basement of the house. And so in order for a stranger abduction to have occurred, then that suspect had to know on that particular day, at that moment,
yes,
that child would be in that basement. The victim risk continuum tells us that is a high improbability. And so you then go back to the situation where you go.
Did you hear what he just said? Remember how people were saying, is it possible? Is it possible? What did I just say? Probability. It's not about possibility in this. It's about probability when it comes to someone missing. What are the likelihoods of a house being alone on top of a hill, right? Adults are outside, like literally. Grandis is sitting, there's the house right here that you see, and across from it there's a camper where the grandma lives. And Candace says she's wrapping or fixing a knee brace on grandma. And she's gone about 2 minutes, and she runs back over here to the house, and the boys are right there in the living room, right where you see that door right off of there. And Candace allegedly says, "Where's Summer? Where'd Summer go?" And according to Candace, she says, the boy says, "Oh, Mom, she went downstairs to go play with her toys." Which, to me, if you've seen the bedroom, there's no way in hell I would have went there if I was Summer's age. But by myself, it's dark and a dungeon. But I digress. And she yells for her down the steps, and nothing. And so she goes downstairs, and she's not there. She says she can't remember if the basement door was open or closed, but someone had to have taken Summer. Now, they live very far up on a hill. How, in God's name, is someone going to be up on that hill, run up on that hill, abduct a child with 15 dogs at least that bark like crazy, and with adults outside, and kids upstairs, and allegedly some are downstairs, and nobody hear it. Can't remember if the bottom door was open or not as well. And there's just nothing to suggest that anyone took her other than she has disappeared.
Okay, who was the last one there and what are the circumstances around that? And I think that's where the authorities have been focusing.
You know, Jason, when we cover stories like this that happen in more populated areas, you know, whether it's a neighborhood like Sebastian Rogers in another part of Tennessee, or in a city like Nashville, or any other city across the country. This is a very rural area. There, it's not like you're in a neighborhood. There's not a lot of folks nearby. If someone comes by, I think you might notice it. It reminds me a little bit of the situation with Suzanne and Barry Morphew. Suzanne Morphew went missing from her home. They were kind of isolated as well. How important is that part of the investigation? The geography and the where all this allegedly took place?
Well, yeah, terrain.
Yes. No one in and out of that door. Well, not to mention the boys. Candace had left earlier that morning. She took Summer along with Grandis to go to the hospital early that morning. And while they are waiting, Candace picks up a 15-year-old boy, one of her friend's sons, and buys him alcohol, also buys him vapes. And while all of that is going on, there are allegedly 3 of the boys are home alone. They were home alone from about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning up until about 3:15. So almost all day. But shortly after they get home, Summer is allegedly abducted.
Especially in rural areas, plays a major part. Like basically Chris was alluding to, if it's not a high active area, high access, you're not really going to have a lot of access by strangers. So the problem that we have here is, how did she get away from the house without being detected? Because in rural areas, everybody knows if there's a car nearby, you're driving down the street, you see a truck.
Did you see that right there? I mean, this is right off from, like pretty much, this is drone footage. This is Ben Hill Road. This is way up in the air, by the way. And they own the wells. They own this land right here, right? And they own like up this right up here. I think that's the tree line. I think that's their home right there. I think that's the building. Yeah, and their home is up here on this mountain. And you turn right down here and you go on Ben Hill Road, and then there's a big driveway.
Everybody knows if there's a car nearby, you're driving down the street, you see a truck pulled over to the side. In those kind of communities, they want to pull over and offer assistance. So access to the home, access to the child is really going to play a big part here. And that's why early on there was a lot of threats and harassment received by the Wells, because everybody thought it was a low probability that, was an abduction.
Okay, guests are staying with us. Coming up next.
I'm looking at this terrain and I'm going, holy cow, she could have even, there's a million possibilities here. Yeah, there's down there, and there's the road down there.
Did you know that in middle income communities, like
In your, where would a suspect have been, in your opinion, in this?
My opinion?
Yeah, in this area.
They could have been sitting anywhere. They could have been sitting over here, just off the little edge right here, or where the bus is, that little bushy area right there. They could have been sitting
Right out here.
Yeah. And
Okay, come show me.
What's up?
That's all right.
And I just recently found out that there was like, I guess he's a child molester.
Okay.
That lives like literally 8 minutes from my house, and he can literally walk from his house into my house within 8 minutes.
Okay.
And like that bushy area right there, you can't really tell if anybody's crouched down there or anything.
That's Chris McDonough at the home with Summerwell's mother. This is a case where a child is alleged to have disappeared in the middle of the day from that property, which brings me to my next question. Another important one in this investigation, which is, what does the family property?
Yes, you cannot see anything on that top of the road from Ben Hill Road. ICU has been there. I've been there in every season. I've been there during every season. This happened in the middle of summer, right? So leaves and everything was on. Now, of the winter time, you can see like a bus up there. You can see the bus, but you can't see even anything otherwise.
Property look like? Still with me, Chris McDonough, who was touring the property along with Jason Jensen. So guys, what I want to do, Chris, I want to show everyone the tour that you did. I think it gives us incredible insight here. Let's take a look.
You hear all the dogs barking? You hear all those dogs barking right there? Let me tell you something. When you pull on Ben Hill Road, by the time the Wells house is the first house on that drive, it's a few turns up the road, and their driveway goes up a very steep hill, and you can't see the house at the bottom of the driveway at all. But the dogs will come right there and will sit there and bark at you. Some of them will come down to the road. I've got video of it as well. But listen to all those dogs. Also very close to the door, where the basement door, there's only 2 exits out of this house, the front door and the basement door. Next to the basement door, very close, there was a mom dog with puppies. And along with like 15 other dogs. And they bark, trust me. But you can hear them. Hold on. Thank you, Lori. Oh, Ash, I'll talk to you later. Yeah, it's not like the dogs bark, right? Yes, y'all, please say happy birthday to our beloved Ash Cash.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. No, she did not face any charges. with giving him vapes or alcohol to the 15-year-old? Not at all. No charges for the 3 boys taken away either, or for the other 3 that was taken away, and no charges of Summer being missing either.
You know, I have much more respect for what you're telling me by standing
This is Candace Wells. This is the mother of Summer Wells.
in here, and I got my little camera here. So, but I'm looking at this terrain, and I'm going, holy cow! She could have even. There's a million possibilities here.
Yeah, there's
down there, and there's the road down there.
Yeah, that's the road.
She did not give him the vapes. It's a falsehood. She claimed that she didn't give him alcohol either. The child said she gave him alcohol and all of that. She flat out lied on the interview to Chris McDonough and said, that was for my mom. And if she was here, she would tell you that right now. Looked dead in his eyes and said that. She lied like a sieve right there. No. Hunter and Allison are not the liars. Candace Wells is the liar on that one. You don't give a child alcohol.
That's my mom's house.
Okay,
Like literally, it's
and this right here.
usually you can see the road because they have went through here and mowed
Okay.
and took down a bunch of stuff away from the power lines.
Okay,
But usually it's full up. You can't even see the road.
that day though, how was it? Was it full up, or
They
was it like this?
actually that day and a few days prior to that, they were working on this.
Okay,
So
And
I've even come to a conclusion maybe one of them people have snatched it
oh, interesting.
because they were all the way up here. On
Yeah,
the
I see.
property.
I see those. The path down there.
Finding Summer, that is true. Sometimes they will say if you sign over your rights, we won't charge you. I wouldn't have done that. I think there was more than sufficient evidence, but CPS and law enforcement has to make that decision. I think whenever you have the 4 kids there, one's missing, 3 have been taken away, and then you have 3 other children from 2 different states taken away. One at birth, literally from the moment. Himself with the last name. Hey Granny, what is honey? Hey Justin, did you see that weird man involving himself with the same last name? There was. Is that what PG was talking about last night? Someone said. I don't know. Someone just said something earlier, but I don't know what that's about, to be honest with you. What's my thoughts on Rosemarie Belay? I think it's not related. I don't think it's related at all, to be honest with you. I don't know anything about that. Marlena Granny, I don't know. He's made the most bizarre comments, truly eerie. She probably was. I don't know. I really don't know. Well, if you're trying, the real truth is she gives, and well, you know what? I don't even have to. You don't even. I will show you proof with. She's got. she's given she's got underage boys at her house, or not at her house, but she was at a place, in some building where she was giving young boys. I've got the photos. They're drinking. So let's talk truth here.
Now I see
Yeah.
the tracks down there.
Yep.
You over there.
And they were all the way up here to my light pole.
Okay. And you told TBI all this,
I've
right?
told TBI this, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Hold
And
on, I'll pull it up.
yeah, I can see the cars going by. That is not far from your property.
Mm-mm.
Is there a holler down there? I mean, is there a river of some sort?
The creek runs all the way around the property.
And how deep is a creek? Okay, just so it's like an inch,
Yeah.
inch or two. Okay.
You'd be lucky to get wet enough to do anything.
Okay. So walk me through. You get home. You take the groceries inside. Is Don home, by the way?
No, he's
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Actually, I parked the truck and I opened both doors. It's really hard because this lawnmower is. But I opened the doors.
I need to look into
and
that.
I said, "Wake up, we're at home." She jumped right up
Okay.
like nothing. I unbuckled her and I said, "Come on." I said, "Mom, I'll be right back." Well, went in there and got the boys and they were sitting at the table. And I said, "Come on, let's get the groceries out." And we brought them all in the house, went through them all, did
And
all that.
and this is her. That's her
That's
swing.
her swing right there.
Come show me her swing. Why is this? And who's this?
That is Smoking Boots. That's my boys' cat.
And how many dogs do you have here on the property? About.
Honestly, I don't know because people just keep dropping them off.
Hi. I know. Okay. Okay. Sorry. So this is her swing.
That's her swing.
This is her playground.
Yep.
And she loved this area. Boy, you know, I'm looking at this and this terrain, Candace, just strikes me as being so dense and just.
Here we go. This comes from Mrs. Wells herself, a Miners, which I know who they are, but right here. Minors right here. Teenage boys. Look above it. What do they got? Alcohol and what? Smokes. Now, whether you think they're involved or not, that's on you. But don't say that she didn't give anyone cigarettes and beer. Yeah. I mean, she's taking pictures of these minors at the time that she was giving, or I don't know if she was giving these guys, I'm just going to be clear, but they were doing it in her presence. And I know for a fact she gave it to.
Is that they say the dog trail? Where?
I mean, to me, it's weird in the first place. In the first place, that you have a woman who doesn't take her boys, but takes someone else's teenage boy with her and 5-year-old Summer swimming. They were going fishing, then they were going swimming, and they also said they were going fishing or swimming whenever they were at Hunter's house. But then they also said, well, when they got to the Walgreens, that's when they also decided to go swimming because it was so hot in the car. They didn't want to sit and wait in the boiling heat.
Where's this dog trail thing that
I'm not sure, honestly.
there's so many of them?
The dogs go in every different
Yeah, I
way.
saw the dogs came out of the
Yeah,
woods as
they're-
we were pulling up.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do that all the time.
Okay.
That trail right there, my boys, they ride those dirt bikes that are leaning against the truck over there.
Okay.
You can see there's one of them.
Okay.
And they
Those are like 50 cc's, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one ain't. I think it's only like 25, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, they go down that trail with their dirt bikes and then come back up on the road, up on the driveway and go around and stuff.
A lot of that video, extremely interesting. So, Chris, what did you take away from touring that property where Summer Wells allegedly disappeared from?
Yep. So, wanting to keep an open mind, right, Vinny, when I'm talking to Mom, about trying to understand what the suspect may have seen if this was, let's stay with the lane of an abduction of some sort. And the terrain is so thick and dense. And by the way, this is only about 3 weeks after the initial report of her disappearance. So this is pretty much what it looked like the day she would have disappeared. And so I thought to myself, okay, is it possible that somebody could have hid in those woods, could have come up behind, the back area there behind the camper, because you can see the road from the top of the property. But then again, you've got to think, okay, does the suspect expose themselves down on that road? Because you could even hear cars going by while I was there. And so Mom then explains that the only way she thought her daughter may have gone out of that house was through a basement door, which was on the left side of that house, looking at it in this shot. It would have been to the left of that. And that was down by the bus and right in that area, right there in that shot. That would have been what they called a dog trail. And so, the fact that somebody would have had to navigate all of these obstacles, et cetera, and that's the door, and get into that door to where Summer was, it really does raise a lot of questions about the abduction theory.
All right, Jason Jensen, the one thing that struck me as Chris is walking around the neighborhood, Chris is a nice guy, he's not going to harm anyone. The dogs, they don't even know how many dogs. The dogs are alerting to Chris, who is obviously in a friendly mode there. What are your thoughts about the dogs on that property and the prospects of a little girl wandering away without the dogs alerting, or someone taking her without the dogs alerting?
Vinny, we were on the same mindset. When I was watching the video, from Chris, the thing that struck me the most was how many dogs were there. So obviously anytime a stranger would approach the home, I'm sure the dogs would bark at him, or at least gather down. Even friendly dogs will go down and greet somebody with tails wagging and everything. But certainly the first moment they're shocked by a stranger coming through the woods,
I think in the Summer Wells case that this is a accident of some sort. Accident with negligence, in my opinion. I don't think that she was abducted by a stranger. I don't think that she walked off at all, in my opinion. I don't think there was time for her to walk off and get that far, even if it was an hour before police got there. And she was also supposedly barefooted as well, which Summer, she was barefooted more than she was a country girl. And so that was just a thing for her. But I believe this was some sort of accident via negligent by whether she was left in a car, right? Whether there was medication accident, whether it was, a bike accident, or, when I say bike, I mean like on the back of I don't think it would be a bike accident, because the boys had little gas motorcycles, but that would be something you would, in my opinion, call 911 for. What bothers me is she is seen, her last alleged photo is she is seen, remember, this is June, middle of June in Tennessee. And she's got this zip up sort of track, is it like a track suit, is that what they're called, and long sleeve pants, in just after she had just allegedly went swimming. It's very weird, it's very strange. And also Candace and Grandis allegedly they made a stop before they dropped off Hunter, and they went to the grocery store. Hunter says it was an hour or maybe even longer. Candace said it was 5 minutes. I personally say it was about probably 30 minutes or so. There was milk and stuff like that, and there was enough groceries for them to take it into the house and have to separate it all.
Be barking and alerting the owners, I'm sure, is what the typical patterns are. I own dogs, and that's what my dogs do anytime someone approaches the front of the house. So I would think that in order for there to be any kind of viable abduction scenario, she'd have to wander off, like little girls do, chasing a butterfly or something, find herself far enough away from the home that she encounters somebody that shouldn't be there. That's about the only thing I can think of.
And Chris, with that scenario, going back to the property here, like I could see that happening in a much more densely populated place. You're at a park, you're at a mall, a child wanders off and can get scooped up, right? But here, it seems like there's a little more isolation. So someone would have to be lying in wait and just hoping that the child wanders away.
Yeah, absolutely, Vinny. And what you and Jason are talking about, just going back to the dogs for a second, when I pulled up, there were, I counted them, there were about 16 dogs that came out of the woods.
16?
I don't care if you just got out of the water. You don't put a jacket on and a long sleeve pants and sit in a non-started car in the back with a child in the back. You just don't do that. So I don't buy that. No.
When you pulled up?
When I pulled up, there were 16, and I asked her, where are all these dogs coming from? And Mom said that folks in the area just drop the dogs off in the neighborhood, and they all come up to that property.
Okay, to me that speaks volumes. That is incredibly insightful in all of this. All right, Jason. So as you look at the property, there are other possibilities here. Without pointing a finger at anyone, but if something happened to her and someone wanted to dispose of,
well, in the within, I think, less than 5 minutes, in the same interview, Candace says, that's just Summer, she's always cold. And then She's like, that's just Summer. She's always hot. She wanted her, I mean, we don't even know when the bathing suit got on. We don't even know if they changed her bathing suit from a swimsuit. Why was Candace worried the back seat would get wet? She never had her swim costume on. She said, Spirit, that she said a few things actually. She said that she put the swimsuit on under her before she left. But she also says they weren't planning on going swimming or anything that day. Right? Up until she got bored, and then Hunter called her, and so she goes over his house, and he wanted to go with her, right? And he's like, okay. She's like, okay, I guess, but you're not coming to my house or whatever. And then she says that's when they decided to go. It was first fishing, then it was swimming. Then she says, look at the interviews. These are her words. 1 second. And then when she, sorry about that, guys. And then when she got to the what is it? The pharmacy. That's when she said, hey, Britt. That's when she said, we didn't want to sit and wait in a hot truck so long. So that's when we decided to go swimming. So was it before you left? Was it during when you went to Hunter's and Allie's house? Or was it at the pharmacy? Or did she actually tell us in the beginning what the right one was? And well, not in the beginning, but after a while, whenever she said she put Summer's bathing suit under, under her clothes. I believe that's when it was, because she says, bookmark this video. It's Justin's favorite true crime. It's my deep. Yes. Yes. Thank you for sharing her flyer too. And I think, in my opinion, that she talked to Hunter that night or early that morning. And they had planned that before she left. Yeah, Shell, we was one of the ones that broke it. 1 second. Sorry, guys, getting calls. So, I think she was speaking to H before she left that night. You'll notice Hunter in his interview, he will say that he was up all night. He didn't go to sleep till very early on. And I believe that's when it happened. And I believe that they planned the day. She knew Grandis was going to take Grandis to the doctor. And then she went right over there. It's my opinion, though.
Of those remains in that terrain, do you think it would survive the level of searching that was done?
I would think initially, yeah, because the scent of cadavers and so strong with a fresh.
Sorry, guys, I was muted. I was responding to Ohio's. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I think Hunter was the one that said Candace changed Summer at his house. I don't think it was Candace that said that, but Candace did say that that is when, in one of the cases, that is when they decided they would go fishing or swimming or something like that to, kill time. So.
Yeah, but as time goes on, certainly cadaver dogs could pick up the scent. So, but initially you're looking for displaced soil where you could see that there was, some shoveling or something in replacement of soil or disturbance of vegetation if there was some kind of clandestine burial. Other than that, I would feel that TBI did a sufficient job with their search as they've certainly moved on to other areas, including doing polygraphs. So it really kind of narrows it down. If it's not the parents doing some kind of concealment or some other hostile force, it's somebody from outside the home. And then the question really gets vague, who could that be?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for your help. Wow. Children don't just disappear. I'm Vinny Polite, and we'll keep digging for answers as the investigation continues. Of the disappearance of 5-year-old Summer Wells, her crowded malls, in the middle of the day from her own house. Here's her story.
Summer Wells was home playing in the...
Now, another thing that's very interesting about this case, if you don't know a lot about this case, and it says 5:20 p.m. have a lot of... Gotcha. Yes, AMC. CPS was at the Wells home the day before she disappeared. The day before she disappeared.
Garden and running around outside in the middle of the day when she went inside her Tennessee home to play with her siblings. It was June 15th, 2021. And to this day, no one has seen or heard from Summer since. Her parents have spoken publicly many times, recounting what happened that day, urging the public for help, all while some looked at the family with suspicion. There have been massive searches for Summer and years of publicity surrounding this case, but none of it has led led to an answer. None of it has led to Summer. Where is this little girl from Hawkins County, and what happened to her?
So when you're searching for a missing person, especially a missing child, there's one question that really starts everything, which begins the investigation, and that's my next question, which is, where was she last seen? Absolutely significant in all of this. Let me bring in my guests who are going to help us. Former homicide detective and host of the Interview Room, Chris McDonough, has done a lot of investigating of this case, and forensic psychiatrist, trial expert witness, author, and columnist, Dr. Carol Lieberman. What I want to do, Chris and Dr. Carol, is take a look at what Chris did going inside the home and showing us the last place where Summer Wells allegedly was. Let's take a look at that.
Them three were sitting right here in front with their eyes glued to the TV, like always. And I said, boys, where's your sister at?
This is an interview 3 weeks after Summer went missing with Candace, the mother of Summer Wells, in their home.
Well, she just went downstairs, Mom, to play. So I went over here like this, because this is where the stairs are.
Okay.
It's actually down under there.
Oh, down into her
Down into
bedroom.
our bedroom, and then hers is on the other side.
Oh, okay, in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement.
Well, this makes sense now, see?
And then I yelled, I said, Summer, Summer. And she didn't, I listened for a minute, I didn't hear nothing. So I went like this, because this is how I would get down here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to come down here or not.
Do I got to be tiny to get in there?
No, you should.
Can we come in from the other side?
Well, we can, but it'd make more sense if you went this way.
Okay, I'll follow you. Oh, man. Good grief,
No,
girl.
with my 6-foot hub is even fit.
First of all, where was that? Anna. That's fine if Hunter gives you the creeps. No worries. He's a product of his environment, just like any other, person that grew up in his environment, just the way Candace did, the way Don did, all of that. And I don't like him walking to Summer in the lake. Well, it was fine with Candace, so you'll have to talk to Candace about that. That's all I can tell you.
Down here, you can. Huh? My husband's 6 foot. I know if he could pay, you can.
I don't really care for, a man taking showers with their children, and they didn't even have privacy in that bathroom. So didn't like that. That's what I thought was really creepy.
Oh, my gosh. Way to go.
This is my husband's room.
Okay.
And over here, well, it's a mess again.
That's all right.
But this is where Summer and little Waylon was, because Waylon's only 9.
Okay.
And they stayed down here. And these are all her toys, all her Paw Patrol,
All her movies. She's got a movie about the Savior.
The boys I brought.
I don't like the fact that Dawn went to a woman's house and stalked her. I've got the police report if you want me to pull it up. How he spied on a woman he'd never met, broke in her house, took her panties. The police came up. I guess someone called on him, and he was acting strange. And he said they checked him, and he said it was his wife's panties. And he thought, oh, that's not a bad idea. That's a bad idea. And then he said, I can't remember. He said it was someone else's panties, and he was going to use those panties to pleasure himself later. If you want, I can read you the police report. I've got it right here somewhere. That's what's disgusting. Hold on, give me a second.
Back down here after she went missing because I didn't want them upstairs by themselves anymore.
Okay. And this is all her toys.
These are all her toys. All these toys that are down here are all hers, except for like the trucks and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the game system. That's the boys'.
Okay.
But them are all her toys.
And she's really into Paw Patrol. I see.
Yeah, I've been collecting from day one. And these are all her little ponies that we've bought. And then these are them girls that she likes. Them new fashion, I don't know what they are, little princesses or whatever. She's like all kinds. Here's one of them bracelets.
Oh, that's just one of them. What do they call these? Oh, this is a little pony bracelets.
Yeah, I don't know what they were really called, but she liked them, and so I just, every time I go to the garage sale, I'd buy her what she wanted.
Okay.
You know, whenever I got a little bit of money, I spend it on the kids.
Yeah, this is her.
Yep, right there.
You know,
this is
whenever I got a
Summer's
little bit of
room.
money, I spend it on the kids.
Yep, that's her room right there. That's her room right there. I've got a still frame of it somewhere. This is one picture. This one's from the interview room right here. That's one of them. Darzilla, hey darling. Hey everybody, paying my late fees for you're so funny. Thank you, dear. Thank you, dear. Good to see you, darling. What's that on the wall? Where? Right there? Probably a hole. This is the room. It was all basically one room that, looking through my files here. Bear with me. Okay. This was her room shortly after she disappeared. The one on the left is before the way it was. This is what two of the children slept on. This bed with two folded futon mattresses at a top one's at an angle. You couldn't even sleep on it, I'm sure. And all the mold and everything. Poor does not mean filthy. That's right, Brandy. Don made good money. That's right, Spirit. Don made good money. I mean, they didn't have rent or anything like that. Lean on me when you're not strong. Hi, darling. Their beds replaced Joe, right? See, Summer's room. before Dr. Phil. Okay. Where did you send it? Oh, thank you. Oh, I didn't get any pictures. Huh, I don't see any pictures, my darling. No. Did you text them? A lot of that. A lot of that, Mohawk. Oh, yeah, yeah. Let's that's a thank you for saying that. Who said that? Jesse. Here, let's listen to this. Let's listen to this call. Listen to this, where Summer is screaming for help that her dad is hurting her. Bear with me. As I find it. Mommy, help me. Help me. He's trying to hurt my daughter. Okay, he just hurt your daughter? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I usually don't speak like this, but anyone that supports that can fuck directly off and not collect $200. That's what you can do. And I mean that. Mean it. Anyone that supports that, that's how it was at that house. All the time. Because of Don and Candace Wells. Oh, they're the sweetest people you've ever seen. No. I'm sure they can be very nice people. I'm sure they can be very nice people. But we're talking about back then before any of us knew them. Okay? There is no excuse for that. A 4, 5-year-old saying, Mom, help me. Help me. What are you doing? He's trying to hurt my daughter. Good question, Stephanie. Tell me right there that you don't think Mr. Wells would hurt Summer? Well, we've got the phone call that says otherwise, that Summer is screaming for help. Saying he's trying to hurt my daughter. That right there, in my opinion, shows you that absolutely that man can have the capability to hurt someone when he's on a rampage fighting with Candace. Wonder what he was fighting about that day. Could it be, I don't know, that Candace and what's his face, Hunter was, out together that day? Swimming? Drinking? While all that's going on? What do you think? Because what I think happened is Don called right there whenever Candace and Hunter and all of them were in the drive-thru. They said that. That is their words. Okay? Don called. Shh, 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 be quiet. Right? What did they do? They went swimming after that. I don't believe Grandma was there at the swimming hole. I believe it was a swimming hole. Remember that interview? I think Don was at home with the kids. Grandis was still at the hospital or at someone's house. He found out. Right. Why would Hunter have to be quiet? Right. That shows you that he wasn't supposed to be there, right? That's what it shows you. He wasn't supposed to be there. And I think someone flipped out. And I think that's why. Yes, Marlena. I don't believe for a second Don was at work all day. Not for a second. And I do believe it will be solved. I absolutely do. Sure do. Where the hell was it? 1 second, guys. Got too many windows open. All right, here we go.
Yeah, this is her. I understand her now.
Yeah.
Even better. Thank you.
I don't think it will, Laura.
This is really important.
Yeah, I come down and I searched. I looked up underneath the beds.
I think Sebastian's case will be it'll be solved before that. In Summer's case,
under there. We can't really get on. I can't get under there.
Yeah.
But I looked under there, looked under every.
Oh, Don slipped up more than times than you can count. Don went, the first place he went was down to that building. You don't go down to that building first. Don found out he despised Hunter. He's made it no bones about it that he was a troublemaker. And he found out. Hunter knows more.
Blanket I could possibly look under.
Yep.
And then I come over here and I looked on both sides and see everywhere. And I don't recall if this was locked or not. I don't recall that.
Okay.
But I know, it's hard on. But I know I did come out here and I said, Summer, because sometimes she'll sit right here and just sit here and play just for, And usually when she comes out and she goes directly that
Nobody came up on this mountain.
way up to the swing.
Oh, okay. So this is like her.
Yeah, she
where
just
she
walks.
come running out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can see the path
Just
here.
go right to the swing.
Right, you can see where she could have run right up to
and this
here.
is all the further she would go. She wouldn't leave.
Okay.
She wouldn't go out nowhere else.
Okay, Chris, the house itself, and to get down to her room, is that like a little tunnel or something?
Yeah, Vinny, I mean, to be honest with you, I was blown away when I first, when she says, down into the basement, and I couldn't see what she was talking about. So she took me around that little bar thing there, and there was this hole cut out, and that stairwell was about probably, 20 inches wide. And then when you got down into that stairwell, you can see how dark it was in that basement. There were two light sources immediately, one from the door, and then the second was from a small window that was covered, but it was getting through some light. And then there was a single light bulb in there. And it was, in my opinion, I told her I had a better understanding of Summer because I had a really difficult time trying to figure out.
Yeah, I'll play PG's The Sound of the Door. You could hear the door when it shut in an interview. You could hear it even when Chris was there.
Film around this side. No, around this side. No, around this side.
Listen to the sound of that fucking door, people.
That's always going to be a classic on this channel. PG. Listen to the sound of that fucking door, people.
Film around this side. No, around this side. No, around this side.
Listen to the sound of that fucking door, people.
That's funny. She's right. She's right about that. I think they messed up Summer's case. I think, let me tell you something. The very night that she went missing, they didn't check that house. They didn't check that house until the next day. They have ripped Don's dash out of every vehicle that he's taken, that he's used. They have ripped that house apart multiple times now. Are they looking for a child that was abducted or walked off if they're pulling that house apart at least 8 times? I'll ask you that. No. the most recent interview of Dawn, Candace, you're lucky if the mother, again, the mother, will say anything about her daughter publicly. Dawn said 3 hours after she went missing, "I'll see her in the resurrection." But he said, "Yeah, we haven't searched for Summer, and it's been what did he say? A year? I can't remember. It was something, or maybe we haven't talked to the police in a year." Maybe because yeah, yeah. Let me show you this one. There's some photos of Summer that they posted of this little girl nearly nude. But this was not too long before she went missing. Shaved her head. Dana, it was earlier that in the morning. Maria. Yep, because it was getting out of control. Okay. Getting out of control. So you shave it with a straight razor? Is that what you do? The hell's wrong with you? She's about to start kindergarten. Can you imagine? Oh my God. Can you imagine a little girl going to school? If you're sick, that's one thing, right? But just her head shaved on the first day of school. She wanted to be, it just, oh my God, it makes me want to just, the other kids go to school with their, new clothes and new backpacks and new shoes and, you know, clean and all of that. And the poor Wells children would have adult clothes on, adult shoes on. It was awful. Hey, Mystery. Kids dressed themselves. They did everything pretty much except drive. Had long hair. Yeah, I mean, Brandy, they always had, lice at just different times, but you don't shave a child's head like this because they have lice, right? Lice won't get rid of it. Cutting the hair, that's not going to get rid of it. Well, I mean, you can go to the health department and they will give it to you. It's very sad. The school supply it there. Mhm. Yep. I pray every day that little Summer will be found. Every day. Look at this. Such a good person. They were really. See, I know Candace is capable of it because whenever Summer was little, their house was much cleaner. The kids were much cleaner. All of that. But, addiction, it makes everyone suffer. It does. Hey, Cher, look at the floor. The floor is plywood or particle board. You can't wash that. Take pictures like this. There's way worse pictures. This is the only one that I will show because it's pretty much just her head. But they posted this all over Facebook. All over. She looked very, you could tell, like, the last few months before she disappeared, you could just see her. It looked just like it was declining, in my opinion. Thank you, Kristen. That playlist I sent you, can you play one video? They are all 10 minutes and under. Let me see, Marlena. I didn't get anything. Oh, maybe I did. 1 second. Hold on. Which one is it? Which one do you want me to play? The top 10? The top 10? This case fires a lot of us up on both ends. Like, some people, are very supportive of the Wells, and some are not. I think the majority of people, I would say the overwhelming majority of people, know something's wrong here, right? Credit goes to Crim and Al. That's clever. I've actually not heard of this channel. Marlena just sent me this, so I'm going to put them in my description and in the chat for replay. Crim. Hold on, let me see here. Bear with me, so I'll put it in the chat here. Okay, here we go.
Hello there. I've been following Summerwell's case since the beginning, and I felt like going over some of the disturbing things which have been said by Summerwell's father, Don Wells. As heartbreaking as they may be, I do believe they are important when it comes to understanding the brain of one of the main suspects. Number 1. Giving props to his now adult daughter for not complaining about getting raped on her 18th birthday.
As soon as she turned 18, he raped her on her 18th birthday.
Jesus.
Yeah, because he knew once she turned 18, there wasn't a whole lot she could do about it or whatever. On her 18th fucking birthday. Pretty crazy. There was things she could do, but she didn't go crying. She don't go crying and for all attention and blah, blah, blah. She dealt with it. I got to give my daughter props on that.
Yep. He's bragging there that his daughter, his older daughter, didn't go whining, complaining, anything like that because she got on her 18th birthday. He's got to give her props because she handled it like a champ. Because there's been a lot of allegations and he's admitted to some. And in his eyes, the people that tell are the whiners and the complainers, and they don't take it like a champ, right?
Number 2.
Never heard anything like it in my
If Dawn
entire life.
said just one harsh word to Summer, she would break down crying.
If I said one little word to her, she would just start crying, and I'd have to apologize 10 times. Say, Summer, I'm sorry. I didn't, she would.
People say Dawn has the hardest time with Summer's disappearance as far as being broken. And in my opinion, I believe that. I believe that because I believe everything Don has ever touched in his entire life, he is fucked up. I believe Candace knows. Yes. Yep, it was Holly. But I also believe she's lost everything. Right? She's lost every child she's ever had, whether they were taken away or went missing. And so she has Dawn. And as long as she has Dawn, she has something. And so she won't tell, in my opinion.
It killed her if I said anything like that.
Number 3. Bringing to words the most vicious acts which he thinks might have been done to his missing daughter.
Trigger warning.
Somebody has hurt her.
Trigger warning.
Probably sexually, maybe beat the fuck out of her. Probably killed her.
He's talking about his missing daughter there. Yes, his missing daughter. And it goes... He didn't disparage. One thing I will give the Wells, they didn't disparage like the way they talked about Summer, but he would say things like this about what might have happened.
Number 4. Not wishing prison upon the person who took his daughter.
So what do you think should happen? What do you think should happen? I have to leave it to God, you know.
Chris asked, what do you think should happen to the person who did this to your daughter? Right? What would you say? Someone took your child. Right? Exactly, Spirit. Hang them up by their toenails, wouldn't you? But he says, listen to what he says. Chris is going to ask, should they go to jail? Listen to what he says.
And I know what prison's like. And I have mercy for anybody who's in prison. You're lucky if you get out of there alive.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So would you want to see this person in prison?
I don't know if I could do that. Let's be honest with you.
Yeah.
So the person that takes his daughter, that he just said that probably his words, not mine, ard her and beat her with the hammer. He says they should not get jail time. Yes.
It just depends on all the circumstances, you know.
Number 5. Going on and on about how much Summer loved him instead of the other way around.
Yeah, she had to be by me. She just had to be by me.
That's how.
Yeah, most parents were talking about how we love our kids, right? But Dawn always is like, oh, she loves me more than anything. Right. It's about him. He's placing himself in the
That's her personality.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she loves me to death.
We had such a great love for each other. She loved me, and I don't know why I've never had someone love me that much in my life. And so it's been awesome, you know, between me and her. And so it has killed me.
She didn't want her mother. She only wanted me. I just couldn't believe it. You know, she only wanted me.
Congratulations, Brandy. Congratulations,
Daddy. I just want to be with you.
Number 6. He always knew something would happen to her.
I just always had this feeling that something's going to happen to her. I've always knew that something was going to happen to Summer. It's something in my gut has always told me.
Number 7. Blaming the children.
They're all glued to that damn TV and their games on their phones. He just started crying. I don't even remember what I said to him or what. And he says, Dad, it's not my fault. You know, and he was crying. I said, I know, son. I know it's not your fault.
What was your other voice saying?
I told my wife that if he would have went downstairs with Summer like she wanted him to, she probably wouldn't be gone. He feels like he's kind of guilty.
A lot of times the boys would be inside and we'd be like, where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone? You know, go get Summer now. You know, and that's happened over and over again.
I don't know why, but they're dealing with it okay more than me. They're doing a lot better than me and Candace are. Mm-hmm. Not why that is, but I don't know.
She loved to be outside all the time. That was her, unfortunately, her downfall.
Number 8. Sexualizing a 12-year-old.
That little girl right there, I think her at the park. That poor little girl, she's got a body from hell, and I think all kind of black all over her at the park. She'll be pregnant. She ain't pregnant.
How old is she?
What, 13? How old
Wait, is she half black?
12.
Yep. 12-year-old, a body from hell is what he said. That's what I'm saying, how quickly people forget.
Number 9. Claiming he knows where Summer's at.
Damn,
understand is my daughter's probably on the fucking streets right now somewhere. And nobody's listening to me.
Donnie, we can't do anything.
I know where she's at. She's in a fucking motel room somewhere with some fucking weirdo. Fucking some motherfucker trying to sell her for a little bit of crack cocaine. I know how it works.
Traded her in for a little cocaine.
Somewhere pulled up in a fucking motel room.
Donnie, stop letting your fucking mind go there, okay?
I've already been there. I've seen
Stop it.
I'm just telling you what I've seen. I'm telling you what I've seen with my own eyes.
I believe that you have seen this.
Number 10. Again, more disturbing ideas on what might have happened. And remember, these statements were made just within a couple of weeks after Summer went missing.
I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility.
Well, I'll see her in the resurrection. As long as I keep the commandments and I do what I'm supposed to do, I'll see her in the commandments. If that's the case, you know.
My biggest fear is, you know, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something.
Statistically speaking, I mean, there's a good chance she's already dead if you look at it statistically.
These were the most disturbing things said by this man which came to my mind. But sadly, this list could go on forever. We don't know if he had anything to do with his daughter's disappearance, but he sure doesn't look innocent in my opinion. What do you think? Whoever's guilty, let's just pray Summer gets the justice she deserves.
Yes, Summer deserves justice, and excuse me, one second. And I pray, and I know you guys pray. I coined this next video. Thank you, Spirit Seeker, for sending it to me. I coined this Dawn's eulogy because I believe this was very, very soon after some day, just 4 days, the 19th. And please drop Spirit Seeker, our sweet please drop Spirit Seeker Squad's link, please. Love you, Mr. and Mrs. and Auntie. Good to see you, sweet friends. Have a great dinner. This is Dawn in front of the church. And in my opinion, I believe he is telling that he is taking the commandments from here on out. He's promising.
All respect, dear Lord God. All respect and love. We thank you for everything, God. Just pray that you'll please forgive us our sins and help us carry on and
forgive us of our sins.
And let us all give our lives to you, God, in every way. Let me carry my cross from here on out, Lord.
Carry it here on out.
We thank you, God, for everything. In the name of Jesus Christ. Please watch over Summer. She's been the light of my life for 5 years. I thank you for that, God. In the name of Jesus Christ, we thank you, Father. Amen.
Summer has been missing, if you will, for more than half of the time that we know for sure that she was on Earth. She was 5 years old when she went missing. And yet, she's been missing over 3 years. Thank you, Mex Chica. Appreciate you, my friend. Summer, you have my heart. I pray you get justice soon. You definitely don't get what you're doing. Thank you, my dear. Appreciate you, my sweet Mex Chica. Thank you so much, my friend. Yeah, Lisa. But Elisa, people say you don't know Candace. I see her cry all the time. Maybe I believe that she might cry, but I believe she might cry because she misses her. I believe she might cry because she's drunk or crying for herself. But I believe they know. I believe they know. Yes, Stephanie. Yep. Still walking. Still walking. Thank you, baby kisses. Thank you, darling. Appreciate you. Yes, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. Greatly appreciate it. Brandis is she's still kicking. Didn't Mary say Don's only religious when he's in trouble? Yes. Yep. Well, remember when we first met Jose, other people we've interviewed, ICU privately. What did they say? The first question, was Don religious? Every one of them laughed. Don religious? What do you mean is Don religious? No, Don's not religious. But he is when he's in trouble. And he is around the people he needs to be. I know, baby kisses. Summer is our Appalachian princess. And I pray, is the devil righteous? I mean, no. And he's never going to be. Yeah, I agree with that, Sharon. I agree with that because when you miss someone, when you love someone, you fight for someone. Jailhouse religion. Yeah. Yep, exactly. Guys, I love you all so very much. Thank you all so much for joining me on this live. I will be back again. Here in just a little bit, we will be covering Sebastian Rogers. Hang tight. I'll see you guys in about 45 minutes from now. Please join me if you can. Would love to have you all. It's going to be interesting. All right, guys. Love you. I'll see you guys, Lord willing, in about 45 minutes from now. Yes, Hatters. Yes. All right, guys. Love you all. Bye-bye.